Hello guys, my name is Amit Sani and I welcome you in this daily Hindu analysis video. So 17th of July it is, and important questions we discussed in evening in the MCQ lesson, and the details are here in the Hindu lesson. So these articles are giving you a lot of insight, a lot of ways to think, a lot of angles to brood upon, and issue is that within these articles a lot of hidden information is there. You need to derive that, and some bodies, some initiatives, some particular ways, constitutional provisions, some articles, all these things they are given in these articles. So as deep as you go in these articles, more beneficial it would be for the prelims stage 2. So it's an integrated approach, and that is the best thing that has been there for 2-3 years, that it's a streamlined preparation. So you don't need to go separately for these ways for prelims and mains both. So we will start the lesson. 17th of July it is, and let's start the lesson. Pocket News app trending on Google app, you can download that. These affordable courses by StudyIQ, the description is given below the video, and these all courses are available. You can call on these numbers, you can visit the website also, and PDF you will get here. Send me a request on this group, and the Telegram's link you will also find there, and you can follow me on Instagram too, and this is the link for my Telegram channel. And these are the words that I found today, and let's talk about the article first. 3-4 articles are there today. Wheels to a low carbon transport system. This is the issue, talking about the solutions and the present problems here. So important for GS paper 2 and 3 both, because technology is also discussed, and the ways, the policies, the management is also discussed there. So first thing, the report that they are quoting here, that global carbon project report. This report is important. This project was established in 2001. Some bodies and organizations, they came together and they started this project in 2001, and these were International Geosphere Biosphere Program, World Climate Program, and this World Climate Program started after the World Climate Conference in 1970s, and IHDP, that Diversitas, and the Future Earth, that is the 10-year project there. So they all came together and they started this global carbon project, because with the starting of this millennium, this issue became very crucial, that we know about the carbon cycle, how it is affecting our lives, how sustainable ways we can find there, and what kind of dangers are there in front of us. So they are also releasing everywhere the global carbon budget, global carbon atlas also. So area wise they are telling you that which areas are doing major amount of emissions. So India per capita emission is not much, but India is a major player now, a major emitter now. So that is the case, and in some high density districts like the city of Delhi and all these areas, they are doing a lot of emission if we compare with other parts of India. So there is a huge difference. So the people who are living in these cities, in dense cities, they are getting affected by these emissions. So it is not the case that the people are not emitting much and they are not having the burn of it. They are actually bearing the burn of it, but the issue is that how we efficiently manage it. That is the case. Electric vehicles are a big solution. This is being promoted, but some challenges remain. They say that Delhi tops the chart and emissions are more than twice than the speed, global speed is there. And it says that the transport sector globally accounts for a quarter of total emissions, means whatever carbon emissions are there, 1/4 is from the transportation sector, and the road transport accounts for 3/4 of it. So that's the case. So reducing CO2 emissions of road transport leverages multiple co-benefits. How? One thing, when we will go towards these vehicle solutions and more use of public transport, more use of cycles and all, so multiple benefits will be there. Health benefits, the most important ones, and the emissions will be lesser. So it's a sustainable solution. Improved air quality, a better way always. So these things are multiple co-benefits here. And in this report, it talks about the issues like the emissions in this urbanization process. That is very much a complex thing, because in cities of especially India, they are unplanned, imbalanced urbanization processes that we are following here, because cities are not in a planned way and they are just growing in any direction, and too much congestion on the roads are there, not the smooth roads, and these things you will find here, and there can be solutions. As you see the condition of Japanese cities and other developed cities where a lot of population is living, so these the network of over bridges, that is very efficient there. And in cities like Delhi, Mumbai, we need these kind of infrastructure, and they are very much efficient. They lower the distances between these important locations like hospitals, schools, residential colonies and all, and they are a major reason, because in a city like Delhi where roads are congested and these cars they are running on first gear, second gear, a lot of pollution they do, and these chalked roads, they are a major problem, and the emissions are the result of that. So the city planning is also a issue. And you see the condition here where policies are necessary, and the policy implications we can talk about here. Focus on well-being should be there, because mayors and town planners should organize the cities around public transport and cycling. Cycling, you see, a picture was viral in a few days back when a prime minister of a country who was riding a bicycle. So can you imagine this kind of thing in this country called India, where vehicles are a status symbol? And you see, we behave in a very foolish way, I must say, because there are colonies in cities where you will never see a bicycle. Means last bicycle you have seen in that area years back, people have made it so big a status symbol that they do not walk. Even you will not see people walking during daytime or nighttime. Only during the morning walks they walk. Otherwise it's a status symbol. They do not walk on the roads. So you just see our psychology, and we do not use cycles. We do not want to walk on our feet. What it tells about us, that we are against our own existence, and we are following a foolish way where status is much more important for us than our health, and that is clearly visible. And you see these countries who remain on the top, like Denmark, Netherlands, Sweden, Norway, Finland. I'm talking about their examples. Like, they are appreciating cycling there because cities are not chalked, and it's a safe cycling there. Indian roads are not safe for cycling. In Delhi you cannot ride a bicycle there. That is also a truth. So it's all a different kind of environment, and the status symbol is a different thing. We are not that much developed. We do not know the definition of a proper urban life. Most of the people living in the Indian cities, they do not know the proper way of urban life. In an urban life, this should be appreciated. Public transport should be robust one, and pollution should be on a lesser side, because bigger technologies are available and efficient roads are available. And you see, in villages, if you ride a bicycle, it's a very difficult task, but on the city roads, it's a very easy thing, and it's extremely smooth to ride a bicycle in city roads. But we do not ride it because of the status symbol. So what kind of thinking we all have developed? Because we are not a properly urban people. That is the reason. Because we are just developing from villages, from small towns to bigger cities, then our basic thinking remains the same. So it's a psychological issue, and we need to see that. National Family Health Survey tells you that around 30% of the men, they are overweight or obese in southwest city of Delhi. What tells this thing about us? We need to think over it. And just 10% increase in the cycling, it can lower down your chronic disease instances like diabetes, cancer, cardiovascular disease. And for 3 lakh people, you just see the condition. This much important addition we can have here in our well-being, and we are ignoring that thing just because of our psychology and just because of our lifestyle ways, which are not up to mark. So that's the case. Technology transition, these e-vehicle industry push, that is extremely necessary, and that is very, very good. But these are just announcements. How these things will turn into a reality, You see, there are no options available for a common man to adopt the e-vehicles. There are no options available in the car section. The people who are riding cars, they are major polluters in cities. As we all know, these are mainly rich people, and they have multiple ways to pollute the environment and imbalance the ecosystem. So these people, average people, they do not have many options. Like recently, a car was launched, and that was costing around 25 to 30 lakh rupees. It is a luxurious category. It is not the common man's category. So they do not have any items left to choose, and these car sales, the e-car sales is actually declining. This is not rising. That is the reality. And these internal combustion engine having cars, which are normal cars by these automobile industries, their sales are also on a lower side, and they are struggling a lot. So they cannot go for these big changes infrastructure wise. They cannot overhaul their manufacturing industries within a short span of time. It needs years. So giving this push is a good thing, and announcing that we will give you 1.5 lakh rupees interest rebate facility there. So that's a good thing. But how you can convert these things into reality? How many options are available? The e-vehicle manufacturing industry is not robust in India. Only the e-rickshaws are available, or some two-wheelers are available. Otherwise, nothing is there. One car that was announced, that was launched actually, that was a two-seater car. That costed more than 10 lakh rupees. So what you can expect? People cannot afford these kind of vehicles. You need to make changes here. Make in India will be boosted, and the environment will be supported here with lower emissions if you make these changes. So you have to do that. It's a political will and a major overhaul in our ways, and the affordability is the major reason in switching into e-vehicular industry and practices of using e-vehicles. So practical advantages are there: low noise pollution, low air pollution, and balanced ecosystem, and these are better vehicles in all senses. But the charging infrastructure is a major problem, and the affordability of these vehicles, these are the major problems there. So you have to solve these issues, then it will automatically become a major solution. And the city managers, as I talked to you, the situation of overbridges and the network of the roads, the chalked roads, town planners need to manage this situation, because the cities of this country, they are unbelievably unmanaged. And why? Because they are overpopulated. So first thing, you need to make changes into that, decongest these cities and develop these small towns, and that's how you can balance the situation of population and the demographic scene. Otherwise it is impossible. As many proposals you will bring, they all will be a failure, because overpopulation is a major issue there. So emissions are also directly relatable to the overpopulation problem. So that is all with this article, and the details of the global carbon project I have told you. So follow these things, and you can write an important mains question here, that what are the challenges of urbanization process in India, and how the e-vehicles industry can be turned into a reality, and how people would be able to access it in a perfect way, and how the situations are going to change with time, and how much time it will take. So many points you can write questions on. Okay, next, the Chinese check. Here they are telling about the Chinese model and how it is struggling a lot, because the US-China trade war is going on, and because of that a lot of sales are affected. Chinese model was totally dependent on the export powerhouses. You talk about China, you are talking about exporting items. That's the case. And on this model, they took the total advantage of the liberalization process. India could not take much advantage of the liberalized economy, but China took it, because they made their export industry very robust, and that's why they progressed a lot. But now for some months, Chinese economy is dependent on the domestic consumption and domestic demand, and the same thing is being experienced in India also. But it is it cannot go for a very long period. Exports need to be there. and the sales need to be there. So exports are there. There is no problem in export industry of China, but the sales are not there. The demand is not there in the world economy, and that's the reason. And that's why Chinese model is failing somewhere, and that's why they are they are just giving the number of 6.2% in this last quarter, and that was the lowest in 27 years. In the previous quarters also the numbers were below 7%, 6.4% and the 6.6%. So it's telling us that even the full scale export model can fail if the world growth is not there, world demand is not there. So we are also promoting our exports. A lot of issues are there, but we need to be careful about those situations, because these are the lessons for economies, and China is way ahead than us, and the model that China followed, more or less we have to follow that model. But these challenges would make us learn about many things there. Okay, and all countries want to become an export powerhouse, but these trade issues and the bilateral issues and some tariff wars and all, these are bigger problems there. So that's why the globalization and the cooperation is needed there. Otherwise protectionism is not going to help, and it will be devastating for developing economies like India. Okay, so a double-digit economic growth in the future would be dependent on some hopes that these clouds will clear, and we are also experiencing some challenges with America, and some tariff issues are going on. So we hope that these are not escalating in the future, and we are finding some better ways there. So that's the case of Chinese economy. Next article, we have talked much about this NRC exercise and these cases, the way administrative problems are there. So we will not go into these administrative details because these problems are well discussed. But the issue that Kalpana Sharma is raising here, she's saying that 31st July, the last date is coming soon, and this process is going under the observation of Supreme Court now. So center and state government both, they are moving to Supreme Court, and they want to postpone this date. They want to extend this deadline. So they also want to go for some resampling in some Bangladesh border areas. Around 20% cases they want to reinvestigate. So they need some time. But you see, this is a major crisis. The flooding crisis is going on in Assam, and this is the next crisis. They say that this fraught process that is going on since 2015, and at the urging of Supreme Court, which is monitoring it, they have given this deadline of 31st July. But things are not completed, and a lot of administrative problems are there, and all the problems are being borne by these poorest people. A lot of difficulties. Many of them, many of innocent people. It is not a problem for the actual illegal migrants. These should not be allowed. That is the clear case, and we all support that move. But what about the innocent people who have been living here for generations? And she's giving many examples there, that how a lady who is who got married and she went to some other place, and she is declared as a foreigner there, and her parents, her father, her mother, they all are having their proper documents and all. Why she was left out in this way? And what is this way, and what kind of administrative exercise is going on, where lakhs of people, they are finding it very difficult. Of around 32.9 million people, only 29 million people they have been accepted. So 4 million people are still left out. From these 4 million people, even if 2 million people are left out in this exercise finally, then we will have 20 lakh people who will be declared as stateless. What will happen to these people, and where they will go? It's a big question. And she talks about some categories here. She says that in 1997, some were declared as D voters. These are doubtful voters, and they were sent to some tribunals there. 100 such tribunals are there, foreigner tribunals are there in Assam, and they are now trying to increase their numbers up to 1000 tribunals. So it will be an intensified exercise in the future. And second category, who were picked up by police on some suspicion, if somebody has complained against them or on some suspicion, and many fraud exercises they have observed there. Means somebody wants to take revenge on someone, then they are complaining about them without any evidence. That's a false exercise, and out of that suspicion, these people are behind the bars. And now, what is the problem? Problem is that earlier, when rulings were such that a complainant, the person who is complaining against us, against a person, and they want them to be declared as foreigner, they had to prove this situation. Now, the accused person who is said to be a foreigner, he or she would have to prove it with his or her documents that he or she is not a foreigner. And for the poorest people, you see, these are extremely difficult exercises. You see, if you go to fill up a form, then even the most educated people, they would fail to fulfill all the requirements there, because administrative documentations and all these are very cumbersome exercises, and it is the case of citizenship. So a lot of things are needed there, and these are poorest people, uneducated people, how much they know. So some innocent people, they are falsely implicated as foreigners, and the burden is on them. Now they need to hire a lawyer there. Already they are poorest people, from where they will get the lawyer? But they need to arrange the fee there, and if somebody is sick in their family, they are diseased, then it's an additional burden, and they are devastated here. And if some false allegation is there on some innocent people, then nothing is more difficult for anybody. You just imagine the condition that you are declared a stateless person, you are sent into camps and all, and somebody is taking a political vendetta against you or anything like that. So you will have to prove yourself that you are not a foreigner there, and you are living here for generations. So what kind of exercise is that? And they want to copy this exercise in whole country. And if it is going to be executed in the same way, then this country would see a very difficult future in the upcoming times. And third category, who are left out in the NRC exercise. So their numbers are in millions. And in these foreign camps, you see, out of 938 people in 6 detention centers, 823 people, they are declared totally foreigners. Where they will go now? What is going to happen with the future? Because Bangladesh has said a clear no, that we will not accept a single person here. So what is going to happen now? How we are going to discuss this thing with Bangladesh? Because foreigner means they are Bangladeshis, they come to India from somewhere else. So how we are going to solve this crisis? And it's an international situation also. And these are the examples which are explaining that in which way these people are tortured and how they are finding it very, very difficult. And the case of foreigner tribunals, these are very, very hectic issues. Now see, they need to spend a lot of money on traveling and lawyers' fees. These tribunals are located in cities. People are coming from border areas, village areas and all. They do not have anything with them, but anyhow they need to be present there. And these are not going on for some hours, not even for days. They are going for months, and every time they need to be present there if they want to prove their identity. So it's a very difficult process, and they would just say that you're not having this document, and you just bring this document, otherwise you will be declared as foreigner. So you just imagine the situation of these people, these poor people, how much they are demanding, that's the case. And the innocent people, why you are throwing out? And the religious angle is again a reality there, and that's the most problematic thing. So that is why this exercise is very, very controversial, and lakhs of people, their lives are at stake. We need to think this issue, and Supreme Court has to bring some solutions here about these innocent people. Okay, so I'm not saying all people are innocent, but lakhs of people are innocent there. Next, the Kusum scheme. Kusum scheme was announced by Ministry of Agriculture, but it is executed by Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. Okay, so MNRE is implementing that, because they are distributing solar pumps there, and central government plus state government, they are taking care about the 60% expense here. 40% would be arranged by the farmer, 10% would be the down payment, and 30% would be the loan or credit which is given to farmers. So that is the scheme there. It's a scheme that has a great potential to catapult the situation. It can change everything, and it can be a greatest solution in those areas where there is no electricity and there is no water, the most backward areas, because in these most backward areas where rains are not coming, plenty of sunlight is available, sun is there for all, and there if these are deployed, then that is the best solution. But you see, the announcement of the scheme that talks less about the problem solving, and they talk more about the proposal, that they say that the additional energy that would be produced there with these solar energies, you can sell these to power discoms and you can earn additional income. So everywhere they announce this additional income, but how that will be possible, they do not talk about that, although the way is clear. But the execution is not that much simple, and there are multiple angles to the problem. So with some small changes in the scheme, they can make it the best scheme available. So you see, two cases, one is Rajasthan and one is Chhattisgarh. In Chhattisgarh, not much requirement is there for irrigation, but maximum number of solar pumps are distributed here, and a lot of pumps are distributed in Rajasthan, where the groundwater situation is a kind of a crisis. There is no groundwater available in some areas, and there you are distributing these solar pumps. So that's problematic. More and more solar panels you need to deploy there. That is perfectly correct. But about the solar pumps, they will bring the water from underground water tables and to the surface. So if the underground water is not available, and that is a crisis, then it's of no use. So this some kind of a imbalance is there. So they wanted to reduce the existing disparity, but this is going just against that. Next, they say that 17.5 lakh off-grid pumps by 2022 we will deploy there, and this way they will incentivize these farmers. But you see, again the same problem remains. It's a one-size-fits-all approach. So the farmers who are comparatively richer and who are having bigger land holdings, they are getting bigger advantage there, and the small and marginal are again left out, and they are getting lesser support there. And as I told you, 60% subsidy is mandated in the scheme by the state, but that is not given properly to all the marginal farmers. Many of them are left out, and many of them are not getting the 60% mandated one. And down payment and loans, they are again a big burden on the farmers, as we all know about that. Although they need to go for that, because it's a major solution, because nothing can be better than the solar pumps, or the solar panels in the village areas, where the biggest symbol of the backwardness is the no electricity situation and the no water situation. So these two basic facilities humans need, and these are not available there. So these solar panels, they can solve both the problems, and it's a best solution out there. But anyhow, government should support more, and especially whatever they have mandated, that should reach to these most needy ones for sure. So they should support more to these landless and the marginal farmers. That is the need here. One size approach will not be applicable here, and that should not be there. And instead of giving additional power to discoms and establishing these grids and all, instead of that, they should make their own feeders which would be available 24/7 in these village areas. Otherwise, right now these pumps will be okay, but in the daytime discoms would need to give them power there. So there, if they can become self-sustained and they can develop their own grids, and that would maintain their electricity issues during daytime or in the night time sometimes. So that would be the best solution. So this way 24/7 they will be independent, and they will be actually self-dependent, and they can produce their own energy and they can use it. Then if some extra is available, then you can shift it to power discoms. So this should be the way. This is the ideal way there, and that's why they say that it holds the potential to catapult the Indian irrigation economy, and from era mired in perpetual subsidy, unreliable supply, in inequitable distribution of resources, and regime which we can see now as affordable, reliable and equitable access to energy. So it's a best solution out there. So some changes we need to make here, and this is how we can reduce the existing disparity also. So this is all about the Kusum scheme, and the details are given there, how it was executed and in which way the funding would be there. Next, ICJ to deliver the verdict on Kulbhushan Jadhav case today. Regarding ICJ, I have asked you a question in the MCQ lesson, so the details I'm giving you again in the PDF. You can read that. And as I asked you that Indian member is also there, these 15 member panel is elected for 9 years. So every 3 years, 5 panel members are elected, and they are elected by United Nations General Assembly. So in 2018, Dalbir Bhandari was re-elected again, and he will remain there for 9 years till 2027. So these kind of things may be asked, and who are the members, how Article 93 is telling us that all UN members are automatically the member of ICJ, and what kind of cases it tackles, we need to remember that. So I have talked to you about these issues in the MCQ lesson. Next, von der Leyen, she is from Germany, and she has become the first female president of European Commission. First female president. So this is a important question. A lot of issues are going on with the European Union. The Brexit issue is the biggest one. So these details can be highlighted there. Next, a very controversial issue by Trump. He said that all the colored congresswomen, they should go back to their home countries, and that is the most unacceptable thing in this country, in this diverse country, which has become great because of the diversity there and the people who have contributed a lot. And these females, these are very much moved, and internationally also many leaders are criticizing this statement by Trump, like Theresa May and Justin Trudeau, the PM of Canada. They both are saying that it's totally unacceptable thing to say. And this white nationalism that is going on, this is the most problematic thing in a country which is leading this world. So you can write a mains question on this thing, that the conservatism that is going on and the right-wing politics which is rising out of these kind of issues, and this white nationalism issue, and the similar issues which we are observing in some other countries also. Majority is haunting the minority there, and the outsiders are also haunted. So in which way the world is moving, how we can identify these challenges, and what kind of solutions can be there. So you can write a mains question of 500 to 1000 words there, because it's a huge problem and it's a global problem now, and the politics in many countries is running on these issues. So it is not a good development. It's a very, very difficult development out there, because it's a global world, it's a global village, and in the countries like America, they promoted this globalization, but today they are opposing people in their home country, and they are dictating now that go away from here. This is the worst kind of politics. And in this election season, these people are putting their stakes on the majority opinions, and they are provoking the majorities, and this is seen all over the world, and in our country also we have been observing this situation for quite some time. Arjuna Award is given to Smriti Mandana and Rohan Bopanna. Arjuna Award is given to people for their consecutive 4-year performance internationally over the last 4 years, and they should show some qualities of leadership, sportsmanship and discipline also. Without these qualities, you cannot be given Arjuna Award. It was started in 1961, and it is given by Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports. So that's about Arjuna Award. And next, a pilotus company of Switzerland. We have ended the deal there, because we have suspended the deal because many corruption allegations were there on this pilotus company, and it is in Switzerland there. So they may ask you about these details. And we were ordering the PC-7 Mk2 trainer aircraft from that. We were to procure there, and we have procured many trainer aircraft from there, but now it's a problem. So these things may be asked. Next, this is the picture of Kappad beach in Kozhikode, and it is among these 12 beaches which we discussed yesterday that they are applying for the blue flag certification. It is by this Foundation for Environmental Education, which is there in France in 1985. It was established, and they are giving on various criteria. 33 criteria are there, and many of them like the cleanliness, the sustainability issue, and the management issues of these beaches. So these are important things. So these things may be asked. So thanks a lot. Keep watching. It was Amit Sen.